Week 2 is upon us. Are you ready? I'm ready. 7-7 Talk Sports. Let's go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to week 2 of 7-7 Talk Sports. I am your host, Derico Gaither. So today, we're going to go ahead and jump right on into this thing, man. I want to talk to y'all a little bit about the marquee matchups from both the college level and the pro games, the NFL games that'll be happening on Sunday. I want to jump right on into it. And as far as the college game go that I want to talk about, the marquee matchup for me, I want to say it's going to be Alabama versus Wisconsin. Now, for those who know me, you know that I'm not an Alabama fan. You know that. So, but looking at this, you got the 4th ranked team in the nation, the Alabama Crimson Tide. They will be going into Camp Randall Stadium to play the unranked Wisconsin Badgers. This is a matchup of two 2-0 ball clubs. And, I think that this game is going to be one that everyone needs to pay attention to. And the reason why I say that is that, for those who don't know, it's not easy to go into Camp Randall and play Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin is a smash mouth football team. They love to line you up and they just want to run the football right down your throat. They're not going to get all exotic. They're not going to get all, as we say, sexy. They're not going to do all of that. They want to line you up and run the football right down your throat. And they want to dare to stop. They want you. Well, let me say it like this. They dare you to stop them from doing what they want to do. Now, also looking on the offensive side for Alabama, you have Alabama coming in with Jalen Milroe, who's a Heisman candidate. Jalen Milroe has been playing great football the first 2 games of this season. He's averaging right at, I want to say, 70% passing, completion percentage of passes. He's thrown for 5 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions. So, I think that's going to be a very sneaky game, but I think at the end, I like Alabama as much as it pains me as an Auburn fan, but, hey, we're here to be as objective as possible. But I like Alabama in a slugfest, I like Alabama to do what they need to do to make plays. And I like Alabama on the road. Now, would I be surprised if Wisconsin is able to pull off the upset? No, because again, you got an Alabama football team, this is week 3 and they really haven't been tested to that degree. Yeah. Now last week against South Florida, they didn't play that well. It was 14-6 at halftime. But then Alabama did what they normally do. They ratcheted up in the second half. They put their foot on the gas and they went on ahead and they blew the doors off the football game. But I really think that this is a game that people really need to pay attention to because, this one's going to be a slugfest, but I got Alabama pulling this one out. And, I think Jalen Milroe is going to do what a Heisman candidate is supposed to do. And at the position, and he's going to lead his ball club, and he's going to make plays and make sure that he gets the football out to that phenomenal freshman by the name of Ryan Williams. So I like Alabama, and I like their defense. While we're staying on the college level, let me talk a little bit about Auburn football for a second. So Auburn last week lost to Cal 21-14, and that was a game that Auburn should have won. I'm not going to say relatively easy, but that is a game that Auburn should have been able to dominate. And the issues that I see with Auburn has been the same thing what I said last week, and that's about the quarterback position and Payton Thorne. I've never been a big fan of Payton Thorne. Yeah, when he was at Michigan State, he had Keon Coleman. before Keon Coleman transferred to Florida State. He had a great running game. They played smash mouth football and they played great defense. So all Payton Thorne had to do was basically be a game manager. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but he had to be a game manager. That's all he had to do. But here at Auburn, it's like he hasn't been able to, it's not connecting. And when I'm looking at Payton Thorne, I'm looking at his body language, right? He's coming off the field. It looks like it's almost like he's whining or like he's pouting. He has very bad body language. And you can tell that it's a disconnect somewhere between Payton Thorne and Hugh Freeze. And Hugh Freeze was hired at Auburn, number one, because he's a great offensive mind. Two, he's a great recruiter, right? So now you have all this hype that's surrounding Auburn football. I believe their 2025 class is projected right now in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. And he brought in some dogs this offseason. He really did. But when you look at the opportunity that he had to go get a Cam Ward from Washington State, who ended up going to Miami. And we all saw what Cam Ward did to Florida in week 1. I'm not really feeling Payton Thorne. And this week Auburn plays New Mexico. New Mexico, they come to the Plains and everything this week. And this is Hugh Freeze has got to make a decision on what he wants to do, because Auburn still hasn't even gotten in conference play yet, which is scary. So, and you can't have a fifth-year quarterback, a fifth-year senior playing the quarterback position, throwing 5 picks in a ball game. You're not going to beat anybody. Hell, you wouldn't even beat anybody in Madden or college football 25 throwing 5 picks. So Auburn, y'all got to get it together this week. This is I hate to say it like this, but this is definitely a must-win game for the Auburn Tigers this week. Because again, you still haven't even gotten into conference play yet. And in 2 weeks from Saturday, you have Oklahoma coming to town. So if you're talking about trying to be one of the 12 teams standing at the end of the year, you better get it together. Hugh Freeze, get it together, and Payton Thorne, your ass definitely need to get it together. So I want to now switch over a little bit, and not switch over a little bit, but I want to switch over, and I want to talk about the NFL. It's 4 games that I really want to focus in this week when it comes down to the NFL. 4 games that I think are very marquee matchups for week 2. First game I want to talk about Kansas City and Cincinnati. You have Cincinnati coming into Kansas City in the Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday to face Joe Burrow and the boys are coming in to face Patrick Mahomes and the boys on Sunday. So, yeah, Kansas City did what they needed to do in week 1. They beat Baltimore. It was a really good game. Patrick Mahomes played very well. Well, I'll just say this. He was very efficient. He did what he needed to do to lead his ball club to a win. But like I said last week, Joe Burrow is one of those guys that has beaten Patrick Mahomes in his own building when it's mattered the most. So Joe Burrow is not afraid of the moment to stare Patrick Mahomes eye to eye and go with him throw for throw. Now, I don't like what I saw last week with Kansas City when they lost to New England 18-10. And there's been some reports that Joe Burrow, he was having some wrist issues. He was trying to walk off the field holding a Gatorade bottle, and he was having a hard time holding that. So, I haven't seen anything yet. As of today, I have not seen anything yet on if Joe Burrow will or will not play. But, I'm pretty sure that he will play. And I think that this is a statement game for Cincinnati, because you don't want to start off 0-2 with losses to 2 conference opponents already. So you're going to put and I know it's the NFL. They got 17 games that they all play, but I'm telling you, you do not want to start off 0-2, because hey, You start off 0-2, your chances of making the playoffs start to dwindle very, very quickly. But at the end of the day, I think Kansas City is going to do what they need to do. Patrick Mahomes is going to be that guy. He's going to make the plays that he normally makes. But I'm looking for a real good game in this one. I think this is a bounce back for Joe Burrow and the boys, but still at the end of the day, I think that Kansas City is just going to be too much for them. The next game that I want to talk about is a division game, a very big opening, division game for both teams. And that is you have the Buffalo Bills playing the Miami Dolphins. Now, both teams last week, they didn't play their best. I will say it that way. Buffalo did what they needed to do. They came from behind and they beat Arizona. And Josh Allen, he made plays. He did what he needed to do to lead his ball club. And, then you have the situation that happened with Tyreek Hill, outside of the stadium on his way to the game and everything. And Miami, they were down, but they came from behind and they beat Jacksonville at home. So this is a big game early, especially this early in the season, because you're talking about two teams and you want to try to jump on out there and, get an early hold on the division. Because, like the AFC East, I was actually shocked with what New England did to Cincinnati last week. But when you look at the AFC East and the teams in their records right now, you have Buffalo at 1-0, Miami 1-0, New England 1-0, and the Jets are sitting there at 0-1. So, division play is always big, and you want to do what you need to do. So in this one, I'm gonna go with Miami to pull this one out. I think Miami's just gonna have too much speed. That's going to cause a problem for Buffalo's defense. But again, I think that it's going to be a real good matchup. This one may come down to a field goal late, but I like Miami to pull this one out. The next game I would like to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys playing the New Orleans Saints. You have the New Orleans Saints coming into Jerry's World on Sunday. And I really don't know how to feel about this game. Dallas did what they needed to do last week against, a Cleveland ball club that really didn't play well. And I'll talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. But Cleveland was missing two of their starting tackles. So and Dallas was able to put the pressure on Deshaun Watson. And if you've been watching Deshaun just hasn't been looking the same. So, or let me say this, he hasn't looked the same, since being traded from Houston to Cleveland and, taking that year off. But Dallas did what they needed to do last week on the road. You go up against a playoff team from the year before, and, and Dallas' record on the road last season was 4-5 as they finished 8-0 at home. So Dak made plays. Congratulations to Dak for getting the bag. And boy, did he get the bag. But congratulations to Dak for getting the contract extension. And he came out and, he made efficient. I'll say that. Efficient was the word for Dak, and the defense did what they needed to do. Looking at New Orleans. New Orleans, they did what a team is supposed to do when you play against a team that's in rebuild. And they took care of Carolina rather quickly. This game was actually over with by the end of the first quarter. That's how early they went on ahead and put Carolina to bed. But Derek Carr played great. If I'm not mistaken, Derek Carr threw for 4 touchdowns last week. He played great. He really played great. He put the ball in great places. The defense was flying all around. Alvin Kamara was, making plays out the backfield in the passing game. So, Derek Carr is one of those guys that's he's sneaky good. Derek Carr can go into any stadium and beat any team, but Derek Carr can also go into any stadium and lose a ball game for you and make a bonehead throw when you say to yourself, why did you make that play? So, but at the end, I have Dallas pulling out a tight one in this one. I think this one is definitely going to come down to a field goal. I see Dallas trying to get the running game established, and they need to get the running game established. And I see New Orleans going in, trying to play mistake-free football and letting their defense fly around. So I like Dallas in this one, but I think that this one is going to come down to a late field goal. Another game I want to talk about, I talked about it a little bit earlier, and that is I want to talk about two quarterbacks that really need a win in the worst way this weekend. And that is the matchup of Cleveland versus Jacksonville. So you have a matchup of two former Clemson quarterbacks in Deshaun Watson for Cleveland and Trevor Lawrence for Jacksonville. So the issue for both of these teams is that they are two teams that you don't really know what direction they're going. So when you talk about Cleveland, right? Yeah, we all know, like I alluded before, that some of the off-field issues or troubles that Deshaun Watson had to deal with. But Deshaun Watson, he doesn't look the same. He doesn't look comfortable. He looks like a quarterback that's lost his confidence on the field. And so watching him against Dallas on Sunday, Deshaun missed a lot of throws. Like he had guys open, and it was either he didn't trust getting the football there, or he just doesn't have the confidence that he can get the football there. And then when you look at Cleveland's offensive line. Now, like I said, Dallas was able to get there. Micah Parsons had a hell of a game against Cleveland last week. He was able to get back there in the backfield. He had a sack. He was able to get to Deshaun Watson a lot. Like, he disrupted a lot of plays. And so, with Nick Chubb being out because, he's still trying to overcome that injury, it's putting a lot of pressure on Deshaun. And I think it's a little bit unfair. I mean, I understand why, the fans are screaming for it because of that massive contract. But I think right now it's a little bit unfair to be saying that you want Jameis Winston to be your starting quarterback and you want to push Deshaun to the bench. Because let's remember now, we're talking about the same Jameis Winston who at one point in time as a starting quarterback in Tampa, he threw 33 picks in a season. He set the NFL record for the most interceptions thrown in a season. So, I mean, I don't think it's time to pull the plug quite yet on Deshaun, but Deshaun has got to show and prove. He's really got to show and prove. So this is really a make it or break it game for Deshaun Watson this week, going up against Jacksonville. And then when you look at the flip side of things, when you're talking about Jacksonville, you got to start with Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville has had a problem here lately with being able to hold on to leads in the ball game. So you have to start asking yourself, who do we blame? Do we blame the head coach? Does the blame fall with the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, the quarterback? But I just know that Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence got he got a brand new deal in the offseason. But Trevor Lawrence just has not, for someone that was hailed as being one of these once in a generational type talent quarterbacks, you just really haven't seen it from Trevor Lawrence since he's been there. Now look, hey, my Jag fans, man, hey, y'all holler at me and let me know if I'm wrong. But I just, right now, from what I've seen from Trevor Lawrence, I just can't trust Trevor Lawrence to do what's needed, especially late in the ball game. I just can't see it. So I don't know, man. I just think with, this week, this is a make it or break it for both ball clubs early. Now, yeah, will Jacksonville look at trying to sit Trevor Lawrence? No, I doubt it, because his situation is a little bit different than Deshaun Watson's. But I think both quarterbacks, they need this game. Like they both need it. They need this win in the worst way possible, because even when you're looking at Cleveland, when you're looking in the AFC North right now, right, you have Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and and Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. So right now, you have Pittsburgh is the only team that won in week 1. All the other 3 teams in the AFC North, they dropped the ball game. So you definitely, again, like I said, you don't want to start off the season 0-2 because it's going to diminish, your chances of making, the NFL playoffs and everything. It's gonna make it slimmer. It's really gonna make it tough. So those are some of the games that I'm definitely looking for. And a bonus one that I would like to talk about is the Sunday night game. Chicago on the road to face the Houston Texans. Now, I'm a big CJ Stroud fan. I am a big CJ Stroud fan. I think that CJ Stroud is playing some really good football. He's in real good command of that offense. And CJ Stroud, I'm not going to say that he's not already a star, but CJ Stroud is going to be that dude. So for y'all who haven't had the chance to watch him, CJ Stroud, the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans, he's going to be that dude. I'm telling you. And it's really surprising because, he came into the league last year, his rookie year. And I don't really think a lot of people expected him to play as well as he played last year. And the man played great. He really played great. So, Houston is coming into this game after a big win in week 1. And then on the flip side, and also got to send a lot of love to Houston's head coach, DeMeco Ryans. Been a big fan of DeMeco Ryans for the longest period of time. I mean, this man knows football. He's a great defensive mind, and I think a lot of people are really starting to see that. He's a young head coach. He's getting his first opportunity, and he's really taking full advantage of that. And on the flip side, I want to talk a little bit about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Now, I wasn't as high on Caleb Williams as everyone else was coming out the draft. I still think that Jaden Daniels, the quarterback for the Washington Commanders, was the best quarterback in the draft. That's what I think. But and this is no hating on Caleb Williams or anything like that. The man can play. I mean, let's go ahead and put that to bed. The man can play. But I think he got a chance to see on last Sunday against the Titans that it's a little bit different when you playing preseason compared to the regular season. Because Caleb Williams, Tennessee threw a lot of different things at him. And I'm not going to say that he was looking confused, but at times it just seemed like the game was just a little bit too fast for him. So now, knowing DeMeco Ryans and, the way how he likes to call his game and whatnot, I think DeMeco going to throw some things at him. I think he's going to pick up a little bit from where Tennessee left off, because if you know anything about football, it's a copycat game. Defensive coaches and offensive coaches, they're going to look and see, what the team did the week prior, what worked, what didn't work, and they're going to add their sprinkle and they're going to add their spices to it and whatnot and go with it. But I really like this matchup of these two young quarterbacks. I like Houston at the end of the day, but it's really going to be interesting to see, how Caleb Williams plays and, this bounce back to see, exactly how he'll be able to handle things. So that's what I'm looking at. This is the season has started off, relatively well so far. Some things that I kind of knew, some things I kind of expected coming into it, but man, listen, I'm just happy that football is back. Like I told you before, if this is your first time ever, watching my show or listening to my voice, I'm a big football fan. I love the game of football. I could talk football with people, for hours and hours. I love it. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to these games in week 2. And, that's pretty much it for the week 2 look ahead for 7-Seven-TalkSports. Again, y'all, I just wanted to say thank you for, y'all taking the time to, to like, to listen, to share, subscribe. Hey, hit me up. I mean, let me know how you feel about some of the things that's been going on so far from what you've seen here in the season so far. Because hey, we got a lot of football left. Football is just starting. We got a lot of games to talk about and different things to cover. So again, thank y'all again for the time. Thank you for the support. And my inspiration for the week, hey, keep your head held high. And like I always say, put one foot in front of the other and keep on going after what you believe in. Okay. God got the rest. Hey, much love to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay. Thank y'all again. 7-7 Talk Sports. I'm gone. And you know how we say it. Holla at your boy.